Hey everyone, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So obviously having a regular Wednesday discussion. I don't have Overlap Rugby here this week. They've been quite busy with work and things like that, and so I had to go scrape the bottom of the barrel to go find someone to join me in my chat. And it's my brother-in-law, so my sister forced me to actually have him on the show. So I just want to say a good welcome to Brannin. How's it, Bren?
Right, and you?
No, well, thanks. Well, thanks for joining with the show. I'll just give you a little rundown of the format of the show. We'll just do a bit of discussion about this last weekend, the world rankings, especially Ireland. Obviously, they're making the top spot. And then now that I've got you on the show, obviously we're going to do that pool stage prediction thing. We'll do that together. We might do a brain and a heart thing. So what we think our heart's going to be and what we think what it actually could be and what we hope it could be.
Okay.
And then lastly, maybe we'll just go through the Springbok squad, because it'd be nice to get a perspective from fellow South African on the squad. And then when we finish, just maybe like one or two questions that may pop up in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so if you don't mind, guys, I actually have to open Windows because my machine's running out of power. So I'm just going to open the window quickly. There we go. It's allow, and here we go. Sorry, what's happening? I've got to add it to the stream. Yeah, so we'll go to the first part. We'll go through this past weekend. So, Bran, I obviously Ireland have taken the top spot. You got any thoughts on that, on the world rankings?
To be honest, Don, I don't watch too many Northern Hemisphere games. Not because I'm not interested; it's just the time factor. I'm sure you battle with as well. But I did watch. I watch a lot of the highlights, obviously, when I get a chance. Ireland to the top, good. But, it's always nice from a Southern Hemisphere point of view when England's not on top.
I actually got taken out in somebody commented saying he couldn't understand why so many people were harsh on England, and it seemed like it was all the old colonial countries. And and my show is called Unbiased Rugby, and he felt like that I wasn't being very unbiased about England. So I said I'd take that into consideration going forward, that I'd be a little nicer to them.
Yeah, so maybe this will be my last time on your show then. And that's okay. And I think just to take a step back with England, I mean, I've got a lot of respect for the English rugby setup. And if I look at it from a Southern Hemisphere point of view and say that they are the ones that I don't want to win, it's probably out of respect, because they are probably going to be the toughest side to beat. Of a Southern Hemisphere team. So just to get back to your question about the rankings with Ireland on top, I've always loved Irish rugby. I really have. And it's just good to see them doing well and they're on the top. If you look at the rankings, if you think about the top sides in the world, would you put Ireland above New Zealand? Because they are above New Zealand. Those standings as they are now, I think in the next couple of weeks are going to change considerably.
I think they're going to change from game to game. I was looking at the points, and I think there's 2 points difference between 1 and 5.
Yes.
And at a Rugby World Cup, if I'm just saying, if South Africa beats New Zealand, it's a 3-point swing in both directions. So, like 1 can go to 5 in a game. So it's going to be it's actually going to be quite nice, quite competitive.
Absolutely. So it'll be something to watch. And so for Ireland, enjoy it while it lasts.
Before a month ago, only 3 teams had ever had the top spot.
Yeah. So I think it's good for world rugby. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's excellent for world rugby.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just go through. Maybe I'll put up the next part, Joe. Say like the contenders for the Rugby World Cup. Before we do our predictions, who do you think are the teams that can actually have a real shot at it?
We've got to put New Zealand at the top of that list. New Zealand, England, respectfully, and we'll obviously chat about my predictions or our predictions just now. So it'll all sort of come out then. But so let's fast forward to semi-finals, because that'll be the 4 top teams potentially. If there's no major upsets. So I've got England, and this is in no particular order: England, New Zealand, Wales, and South Africa.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my top 4, and again in no particular order. So if I knew nothing about rugby and someone just gave me a whole lot of statistics about the sides, I think that's what I would put together.
Yeah.
That's my sort of limited view on things.
I was doing exactly the same as you. When we go through the pools, we'll probably get a better understanding of why we've come up to those kind of decisions. I just feel, even though Ireland's on great form, I just think if Ireland can win their quarterfinal game against either New Zealand or South Africa, chances are it's probably going to be South Africa. Then I think they could go all the way. It's just that quarterfinal game that's going to decide their World Cup for me.
Sure.
The beauty of South Africa is we can at least lose to New Zealand once during the World Cup and maybe still even win it. So
that would be history.
It would be history, but stranger things have happened.
Well, they have. Crossed our minds a few years back with Japan.
Yeah, exactly. I almost stopped watching completely after that game. I'm sure a lot of people also stopped watching. It was like Japan. We lost to Japan. We lost to Italy. So there was like quite a string of not great results.
Yeah. So I mean, you say you stopped watching rugby. I almost stopped reading. It was ridiculous. But Japan, they played amazingly well that day. They played above average, above 100%, and we played below sort of our lowest percentage. So the stars aligned for them, and that happened. And the risk is that something similar can happen to any team in the coming up World Cup. So it is about how good they are on the day, and we hope that their preparation has been good, and the results will be good for the top nation. Not to say that I don't wish the other nations all the best, but realistically, I can't see Uruguay coming in left field and ending up in a quarterfinal. Or Russia or Namibia.
I think they had like 500 to 1. Win the World Cup.
You've got a bit of spare cash lying around, and maybe that's something to go and do. So that's that.
So I think let's go through the pools and maybe have a bit of a discussion to see who's going to come first and second. There's quite a lot of the channels out there have been doing a very similar kind of thing, but what the hell, I mean, I think we're all pretty excited about the World Cup coming up, so I think it's prediction time. I'm probably going to, if I get it wrong, somebody in the comments is probably going to hammer me, but that's fine. It's what it's all about. I put myself out there, so I've got to take the abuse when I'm wrong.
Sure. Thanks for taking me with you, Don.
So let's look at Pool A. Pool A, What do you think of Pool A? Who do you of those 5 sides?
So in Pool A, I've got Ireland as my top pick, and Scotland as runner-up.
Yeah.
The only side there that could possibly create an upset would be Samoa.
Yeah.
I can remember watching Samoa play South Africa through various tours and that, and never actually, a lot of the sort of smaller sides, when we've played them, you always think we're going to beat them. It's just about the margin. But whenever we play Samoa, there's always that question at the beginning of the game, just think, are they going to run over us, or are we not going to be able to run over them? Because they just stand up. I mean, those guys are phenomenal.
Geez, I was watching some highlights from a couple of World Cups. You remember that game that we were I think we were behind, and we had to bring on all our heavy guns in the second half to obviously win that game against Samoa. And I just remember the hits that were coming through on our players, and I just thought, good grief. I think we won that World Cup, though.
Sorry, say that again?
We won that World Cup, so...
Yeah, fair enough. So let's just hope Samoa, or not hope, but let's see what happens with Samoa. But as far as Pool A is concerned, Ireland 1, Scotland 2.
Okay.
That's my
I'd agree with you there. I think Japan are pretty much a dark horse. I think they're going to obviously have home support, and I don't think you should look at the game was against Tonga, not Samoa. That's Rico Stewart was saying the game was against Tonga, not Samoa. Okay. Yeah. Nice to be corrected.
Yeah.
I don't think we should look at the South Africa-Japan game as the rumor saying there that Japan will come in second as an indication of where Japan are. I just think Japan play a style of rugby that was quite easily to negate tactically with kicking and with tactical kicking, because Japan, they just wanted to run the ball from everywhere. So the one thing that Scotland, if they try to play that kind of game against Japan, they're going to come unstuck. And, the only way to beat Japan is you have to start playing. You have to be tactical. You have to kick for territory, get your scrum penalties, and that way. But if I was a betting man, I'd agree with you 100%. I'd say Ireland, Scotland, 1 and 2 for that pool.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll go across to the next pool. Okay, that's the big one. Head or heart?
So head is going to lead here. So as far as Pool B is concerned, first New Zealand out of that, so that would make us, or that would mean we do. But yeah, so it's New Zealand 1, South Africa and second. Unless something major happens between Namibia and Canada, it's not going to happen for them in that pool. I would hate to be in that if I was not from South Africa or New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion, the pool of death. And yeah, I mean, everybody's got to be in a pool somewhere, so they just found themselves in the pool. And it might. Us playing New Zealand first, and then playing the others, it might sort of help us and probably help New Zealand as well. We shouldn't really have too much struggle, or too much of a struggle to get through to the quarterfinals. Where I don't think it's the same for the other pool. So yeah, New Zealand in second, and with that sort of prediction. And you'll see as we go on, in the final.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where it is.
Well, I was doing some reading about there's an obscure rule about for if typhoons come in at the pool stages, and I was working it out. So if we lost to New Zealand the opening game, okay, so they get the 4 points, we get nothing. And then against Italy and Namibia, it gets rained out because of the typhoon. It's a draw. Italy wins their games against Namibia and Canada. Italy and New Zealand go through it. We don't.
Well, then I might be immigrating. But yeah.
Look, I doubt it's going to happen. I think, I'm sure they'll move heaven and earth to try and make sure that the games get played. But that's the rules. So, and it is typhoon season. So,
yeah. Stranger things have happened. Yeah.
I agree with you. I still think I do think New Zealand will top that pool. I think they've been planning something really special to combat rush defence. I think South Africa have the best rush defence out there. Yeah. Completely rush defence. Oh yeah, I was also sorry because someone is also talking about a Modern Bok. I've actually got a show planned with next week with Modern Bok. But if it's a draw, it's what happens to the world rankings? Because then the points get split. So if Namibia is playing New Zealand and the points get split, New Zealand drops literally 6 spots and Namibia goes up 6 spots. So I'm going. If it's rained out, then does it count towards the world rankings? That's what makes the world rankings at the moment it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, so it's just numbers at this stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the dust will settle, and then we'll see who the actual role players are.
I've got a few because I know the world rankings get decided on a Monday. I think it's tennis where they do it once a month, and so it does all the fluctuations for that month, and then at the end of the month they do a calculation based on the month as opposed to based on individual games or an individual weekend. I think it's tennis. I could be wrong though. Okay, so now we go to Pool C. Everyone's calling the Pool of Death.
So obviously England at number 1 to come out of that pool.
Okay.
And as we were sitting here, I was looking at my second pick, which before you started the show, I was convinced Argentina as number 2. But France, I think, could also be number 2. And I know I have to pick one. But so my head maybe is saying France, my heart's saying Argentina. And that's just because I think here in the Southern Hemisphere now we've been exposed to a lot more Argentinian rugby than we've ever been over the last couple of years. And I really like their rugby. We were talking about player base or player pool. If you look at their player pool compared to sort of other nations, for them to sort of feature as well as they do, and obviously they didn't have a great rugby championship this year, but it was a different format to normal years because of the World Cup, so maybe they never got their momentum the way it should have been. I said England won out. England to come out on top, Argentina to come out second, but France could slip in there. I can't see the US and Tonga upset anything in that pool.
My biggest concern with Argentina is their set piece, and going up against an England whose set piece is seriously is great. France their set piece has improved astronomically. I think they. I think at one point they were doing 950 kilograms scrums. You're talking, these are big boys. And France, they traditionally, they could watch a top 14 game with 300 scrums in a row and everyone would still be happy. So I just feel Argentina, they've really come unstuck without having a decent set piece. They've got some great loose forwards, but without taking Issa was a bit of I thought was a serious big gamble. But if you're not going to win scrums, or I think you're in for a hiding against England and France. Northern Hemisphere sides that love set pieces. I just think it's the only place I'm going to disagree with you. I think France are going to come second in that pool.
Okay, fair enough. With Argentina battling with their set piece, it would be something that they would have worked on since the
I
Rugby
hope so.
Championship going into the World Cup, that's always been their strong point. So yeah, let's see.
See that it's if you've got a problem at set piece and it's your throw, and then you just do channel one ball. That's get it out there as quickly as possible. You don't do mauls, you don't do anything special. Throw it number 2 at the line out. Channel one ball at the scrum. But the problem is when it's not your scrum. And I know South Africa employ it a lot. Ball gets to 8th man, do the second shove, get your penalty, kick down. Have another set piece, get another set piece penalty 5 meters out. So that's the problem with not having a set piece going up against sides that have got decent set pieces.
Yeah, so that's the chink in the armor, which will be exploited if they haven't figured it out.
So anyway, so because it's my show, I think I'll veto your decision.
Okay, brother-in-law.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's France, but you said France could make it, so I don't feel too bad by overruling.
No, it's fine.
Hey, now we get to Pool D.
Yeah, so Pool D, there's really only 2 sides in it. And I say that respectfully to Georgia, Fiji, and Uruguay. You've got Australia and Wales, so they're going to come out on top. And at risk, I think Wales will come out at number 1. Australia at number 2. Australia. I'm not a huge fan of Australia or the Kiwi, Australian rugby side, and my personal sort of view on things, and maybe it's the personality thing with some of the players, and Michael Checker. I can't get my head around that guy.
Same here.
Yeah, so it's. But that's if they've had some success. I mean, they beat New Zealand a couple of weeks back. And that was a great game, and they played really well. I mean, if they can play it at that sort of intensity in this World Cup, then they'll be contenders, proper contenders. Obviously, Australia being in the southern hemisphere, where we're from, we like to sort of support each other. If we're not supporting our own home nation, touch wood that we will support them right through because they'll stay in the competition. But if Australia, Wales, so Wales 1 and Australia 2, and that's my sort of my head decision. My heart would want Australia to come out on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think Wales have had 2 really tough games that's really tested their depth. These last 2 games, they lost their starting 10, Ashcombe. So I think they're going to be carrying. They're going to have to pull out something special. But I just think Wales are the kind of side that can they don't mind playing 30 phases. They really grind. They grind. And Australia are a completely different kind of side. And Australia have some sublime backs. That can Curtly Beale can. He is a special player when he's on form.
I agree 100%.
My concern is they're 10. Obviously, playing. I'm not a big fan of Bernard Foley. I just don't think he's in the same kind of league as Bowden Barrett, Sexton, Pollard. He's more an Elton Yankees as opposed to a Andre Pollard.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think he's quite solid though. He's quite dependable in that position. So I don't think he's a playmaker. So he's going to take the ball. He's going to either pass it on, or he's going to run it up, go down, get the ball back, and that's it. And then he's going to kick his points when it comes time to kicking the points.
Yeah.
But you need a player in that position, and this is across the board where they got their backs against the wall. He makes a decision for the team to sort of spark them out of a rut or to get them going again or back on the front foot. And I don't know if he can offer that. Australia is Australian, and they've always been good contenders. They are a World Cup winning side in the past.
Exactly. So they always know when to peak.
Yeah. So let's hope that they do well, but not too well, because I've got them, as you'll see now, going to the quarterfinals. There'll be a time. Yeah, I think they'll peak in the pool stages, in my opinion, and then they're going to battle through the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I agree with you 100. There's another show that I watched, the 10-14. They've got they do a lot of analysis and things like that, and I think they were saying I could be under correction that the New Zealand, the Australian side have the most, like, literally caps of any side. And that's with some players in the back that don't have a lot of caps and things like that. So there's a lot of older players and things like that. So I honestly feel there's something more fundamentally wrong, either with Checker or the back room or with his management or something. Something's just not 100% right there. And I've always believed that a good coach can make a team better than the sum of its parts, and Checker's just not that coach.
Yeah. Don, the other aspect, and I suppose this is probably a feather in the cap of the Australian side, is that rugby union as we know it is not the top sport in Australia.
Yeah.
It ranks third. So you've got your where they play on the round field, or the oval
Aussie
field.
rules.
Aussie rules. So that ranks there, and then you've got your rugby league, which is huge.
Exactly.
And then there's union after that. I mean, so for them to be at where they are, I think is great. And if, they are World Cup winners. So yeah, they have it in them, as do South Africa and obviously New Zealand, and England, obviously also World Cup winning side. So yeah, let's see where they go in the pool stages, and hopefully they make it through. So, which I'm sure they will, based on that pool. I can't see Georgia, Fiji, or Uruguay upsetting that apple cart.
No, I doubt that completely.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, so we'll go into the quarterfinal stages now. So quarterfinal 1, we've got England versus Australia. Quarterfinal 2, we've got New Zealand versus Scotland. Then we've got Wales versus France. And then we've got Ireland versus South Africa. So I think I'm going to have to apologize to everyone because we might be very, very biased at this point. Even though I'm really trying. I'm wearing an Irish rugby jersey, so I'm really trying to show some support. But my blood's green, but just not Irish green.
Yeah. So that's as it plays. Obviously, the only difference for me was as I said just now about Pool C, having Wales playing Argentina as opposed to you having Wales playing France.
Okay.
But, yeah. So that's the only. But that is where the difference, I think, is going to stop. I think going into the semis, it'll be the same, because I didn't see Argentina getting through the quarterfinals, and I don't see France getting through the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So yeah.
So basically, I can click that one straight off the bat and say, obviously Wales are going to win that game against France. I think so too. Either one, France or Australia. Actually, France, because they pool with England, France and Argentina. France or Argentina would not get through Wales. I think England could, if England were in that position where they came second in that pool, I think that might be a really tight game.
Yeah.
But France or Argentina, I don't see either one of them getting past Wales.
No.
Yeah, then we've got quarterfinal 1, England versus Australia.
Yeah. I think that's going to be one of the games of the tournament. I said, Australia will get through the pool stages fine, and they're going to battle through the quarterfinal. I can't see them, based on how the setup that England has now, and the strength that they're at. I mean, I can't see them battling against Australia in the quarterfinals. I think England's going to put Australia in the quarterfinals. That's just my opinion for now. But I would love to have done this prediction after the first set of games in the World Cup. Maybe we can relook at it then before the second set of games. Everybody's travelling. Obviously, South Africa got there first, and I think I mentioned earlier when we were chatting. They were making sushi today in Japan, so they're like really comfortable. The other side's only arriving now, and if England travel badly and they come unstuck, then they're gonna that might be where it catches up with them in the quarterfinal.
The problem that England have, I do think they're going to win this game. The problem is, normally to win a World Cup, you've got to play 3 Tier 1 nations in a row and win those games. That's generally how it is. But they are also playing France and Argentina in their pool. So they've got to play France, Argentina, Australia, then either we'll see in the next round who it will be, and then obviously another Tier 1. So it's if they win it, hey, good on them, seriously, because they've got the toughest road from just pure physical attrition.
So out of that quarterfinal, I'd see England pipping Australia at that point. So that might be the end of the road for Australia, quarterfinal 1. So that puts England through to the semi-final.
Okay. Then we have, I think quarterfinal 2. I think is pretty much a given. I think we know who's going to win that game.
Do you have a lot of Scottish people that watch the show, Don?
No, really, no disrespect to Scotland. Really, no disrespect to Scotland. I know New Zealand at World Cups they're phenomenal. They're going for their third in a row. They peak at the right time. They've got depth to the nth degree for almost every single position. So if Scotland won that game, it would be great for World Rugby. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
No. To be fair, New Zealand have that in the bag, even at this stage. I think they should just go straight there and just wait there for it.
But look, it's a sad thing to say, but Scotland are quite far down in the rankings, and they just don't have the depth in most of their position. Yeah, they've got Finn Russell and they've got Stuart Hogg, and they've got some exceptional X Factor players. But you need more than just 2 X Factor players.
Yeah, at least 3.
Okay, so we go through to the quarterfinal 4. This will be the biggest game.
Quarterfinal 4
for South Africa, obviously.
So quarterfinal 4, Ireland, South Africa. Obviously, at that point, if we will get through to that point, and we're going to play Ireland, and we will beat Ireland. Because that is the point, in my opinion, where South Africa is pointing to at this stage, to that quarterfinal game. Everything has to point to the quarterfinal because that's the first knockout stage, and you've got to focus on that from now. Get to that quarterfinal and then beat that team And that team, in my opinion, would be Ireland. I think at that stage, the guys should be firing a lot better. If I think back, to a week ago, over a week now, but we played Japan. I expected the score to be higher against Japan. The fact that and respectfully to Japan, because I think they've done phenomenally well in a short period of time. But that try that they scored against us was soft. Like if Japan can score a soft try against you, what's New Zealand going to do to you in that sort of same scenario? So, and we're going into New Zealand as our first game, so Rassie has got to tie those holes up quickly.
I was looking when it comes to the Japan game. The problem with Japan is, they're fairly predictable in a way that they'll run from anywhere. So you knew that when they were in their own 22 that they weren't going to kick. They were going to run. And even when they were halfway, they were not going to do the little chips to get over the rush defense. Those little half kicks. They're not going to kick to the side, and that's what makes it fairly predictable. But New Zealand are a completely different kettle of fish, and I honestly feel that they've come up with a plan to combat rush defense. And there is only one team, the best rush defense, I'd say, South Africa at the moment, and I think they're going to target something in the South African backline. Either one of the wingers, or they've got half chips or something like that, but they're going to combat the rush defense somehow. If they don't, then they're not going to win the game.
The rush defense is always, either it pays off or you hurt badly from it. And if you look at our wings, specifically Colby, he's not dissimilar to Brian Habana with his intercept sort of characteristics. And if you're going for the intercept, if you're rushing up and the ball's flying along and you're going to the intercept and not the man, then that's a problem for me. An intercept really for me is only, if you trying to cover three players on the wing, and you can only tackle one of those three, and if you don't get to the man with the ball, then it's going to be a try. Then maybe go for the intercept, because that's the only thing that's going to save you. I just see the South African wing, specifically Colby, is always potentially looking for the intercept. The tap up of the ball and then running through and trying to get to the end. Once he's through, he's done. He's gone. You're not going to catch him. So, and that's his strength is his speed and his agility. So with New Zealand, I think they'll watch. Obviously, they watch plenty of games of their opponents, and they'll see that. So they'll set that up. They'll set up that scenario just for him, and then they'll just exploit it.
Look, I think New Zealand are gonna. We'll get back to the selecting the quarterfinal, but I think our rush defense is an outside-in rush defense. So everyone comes in, and it's almost like a banana. You can see it literally looks like a banana. That the wingers come up so quickly, and it works, but you've got to have really good scramble defense. So your guys that are coming off the scrum, your Peter Steffs are bloody rushing to get into position to try to defend against it if there's a problem. The problem that I think we have is that our wingers are probably 10 tests away from perfecting the rush defense. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to, they need to be at about 25 tests where they understand when to rush, when to hang back. At the moment, they're still learning the structures. I think what we're doing is absolutely correct. I think it's the right way to go. It's just it might not be mature enough just yet.
Yeah. So let's see how that plays out. So quarterfinal 4. Ireland, South Africa. Obviously, I'll say South Africa through.
I agree with you there.
And that puts us in the semis.
We've got a comment here from Rickus. He was saying that never underestimate Rossi. He always is one step ahead, and I agree.
Yeah. Well, for South African rugby, I hope so. So I hope he's working on something that's going to combat how the All Blacks are going to combat us. It is about its attitude. It's about mentally being prepared for what they face on the field. And I think maybe that's Russi's strong point, is that he is mentally preparing the guys. Because when you look at them as well as a team, they look happy together.
Yeah, they do. They do.
You know, and that's the cycle. So let's hope that it's building, and it's at a level that they can all feed off each other and believe in each other. You know, that's the big thing about Rush defense, is you got to believe in the oak next to you.
Yeah, you have to. You have to fully trust. You have to fully trust everyone around you.
Yeah. So but you're talking about the banana, and it is, and I've seen that. You know, back in the day when I played a bit of rugby, we had you know, if the ball was kicked up, you know, the scrummy does a box kick, and we used to call it a blanket. So what that meant is that everyone came up in a line. So there was no one in front of the next oak or past or behind.
That's correct.
And you come up in a line as quick as you can. But that would mean that your quicker players would have to slow down slightly, and your slower players.
That's how it has to happen.
Yeah, would have to sort of dig a little bit deeper into that engine and try and find second gear up your forward.
You know, when you're a big loose head prop, and you got to try to keep up with the wingers. But look, what makes the New Zealand South African game so exciting is that I think both teams are doing some cutting edge stuff, but in completely different areas of the game. You know, the New Zealanders are very cutting edge on attack, and the South Africans are very cutting edge on defense. And I think that's a completely different. I think it's two important parts of the game, but it's going to be a real clash of styles.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that both sides perfect their aspects, and then we see them in the final. That'll be great.
Yeah, I think if both sides can perfect what they're both doing, I think we're in for a hell of a great test.
Yeah.
Let's go through to the semi-finals, because I didn't realize we'd already been speaking for 42 minutes. I don't think we're going to get all the way with the show, but that's fine. You know, you get sidetracked, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the semi-final stage now. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Maybe during the World Cup, I think when we halfway through the pool stages, I might think of inviting you again. I might. And then
I'll beg you.
Yeah, that's okay. If my sister asks me, then I'll think about letting you in.
Okay, I'll ask Mark.
But then we'll reevaluate all these things, and then we'll come back to what we thought it would be and where it actually ended up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we've got. I honestly feel probably the bar Ireland. I think Ireland could be in this position with these four teams quite easily. So Ireland and these four teams could easily be in the semi-finals. So in the semi-finals, how we've picked it, we've said England, New Zealand, Wales, South Africa.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I agree.
But it could conceivably be Wales, Ireland. You know, I'm just saying that anything could happen.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if it's Wales, Ireland, it means we're on our way back home on a plane.
Yes.
Which I hope we're on. But yeah, I agree. Ireland could be there, but I hope not.
Ooh, that's quite somebody. The ultimate sharpshooter. He's actually quite a regular person on all my shows, or actually on all the channels out there on the internet. And so yeah, that's we haven't beaten Wales and. I can't even remember when we haven't beaten them once in this entire Rugby World Cup cycle. So
we also up until a week ago we also had never beaten Japan. We've never beaten Wales for a while, so but it's a different team. It's a different setup.
Yeah.
I think we'll get through. So as far as playing Wales, we don't really have to worry as long as I mean, if we play Wales in the semi-final, while we're saying if we play Wales in the semi-final and we beat them, that'll be our first game against Wales in the World Cup. So, and by that stage, everybody will be, after the quarterfinals, we'll be, a lot better sort of. If we do another show or you do another analysis, I think you'll be in a better position to say which way that game's going to go after seeing Wales compete and then after seeing us compete.
I agree with you there.
I know we don't have a great track record against Wales, and it is what it is, and let's hope that we can get through now and change that, and in doing so, secure our spot in the finals and hopefully bring the cup home.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people talk with depth. Okay, I honestly feel with our forwards and maybe and most of our backline, not all of it, I think we've got depth to burn. I think we can handle one or two injuries in some key positions and still not have a real drop in performance. Yeah. I'm just not sure about if Wales have that same kind of depth. That's the biggest issue. If they lose their, I'm trying to remember if they lose Moriarty at 8, who's the next 8 after it? So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe somebody in the channel will know, who that would be. But if we lost, actually, we're not even taking a spare 8. I didn't even think of that.
No. So I mean, they've got too many scrum halves. South Africa's got too many scrum halves, in my opinion.
I think our biggest issue is going to be Pollard. We can't lose Pollard at all.
Yeah. Well, they played him again, so I don't know. I think maybe he's fixed himself and he's good for a good couple of games going forward. Let's hope.
I hope so.
But you talk about the depth. If Wales, let's flip the coin on the other side and say, well, Wales, they don't have any injuries, so they don't have to worry about them.
Yes.
And we get a whole lot of injuries because we are so abrasive. Sometimes I don't know how the guys actually stay on the field.
Yeah.
So and something's going to give at some point. so who knows? Quarterfinals, then semis, full knockout. So it's the 80 minutes that they're there, and that's what's important. So, let's see where it goes. But,
look, you're absolutely right. We could be carrying a lot of injuries. Just the way that we play a lot more. It's a lot more physically upfront kind of rugby. So it's very abrasive. One thing I can say about Wales is they love that kind of challenge. When you start playing really physical with them. They say, "Hey, let's get down and dirty and let's get physical back." So I think we can't underestimate them at our peril, and we have to play our complete 8 game against them. But I'm still going to say Springboks to win that game.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Then we go to the other side, which will be England, New Zealand.
Yeah, so that's a no-brainer for me. New Zealand all the way. I think you mentioned it earlier. So, they've just got the temperament for this tournament. So and that's when it's going to come to the fore. And I think it might be a close game. I think it might be not the greatest spectacle of rugby because I think England can bring it as well, especially now with Eddie Jones. But I see New Zealand taking it because once they get to quarterfinals, that's it. Their prize their minds on the final, and that's just going to be a hurdle. And if that hurdle is high, they'll jump as high as they need to get over it.
So one thing I can say about England, they watch how they play, and they throw everything into that first half. They throw everything, the kitchen sink, their mother-in-law, they throw everything into that game, into that first half. And it's very easy for them to go 21 points ahead because they literally they do know how to get over the gain line. They do have a really big physical pack. They're going with 2 open sides, so the breakdown's going to be quite intense. I'm not the hugest fan of Owen Farrell, but he is an exceptional player. You can't deny that. They've got wingers that know how to score. They've got a seriously with Tuilagi in their midfield, Cock and a Singer on the one wing. They've got some seriously big ball carriers. My biggest concern is they lose one of those ball carriers or they lose Billy Vunipola, they're in serious trouble.
Yeah, so it's the same. I'm going to say the same thing that I said about Wales. Let's imagine that they don't lose anybody.
Yeah.
Every team is going to struggle when they have injuries. Because if you look at the South African context, and I was reading somewhere, they're saying that any one of those players in that squad could be the starting 15. So there's always the team, the actual nucleus. If you can keep that nucleus together, then you're normally okay. And if you have to sub a few around the fringes, sort of fill in the gaps, it's that nucleus that's so critical. So if in our context, let's put it this way: if Pieter-Steph du Toit got injured, it's going to change the whole approach that Africa has, because that is unbelievable. I mean, I don't know where they made that from. But he just brings it, and you can see the players around him sort of respond to that.
I was chatting to someone there with I was a different channel, and they couldn't understand what this fascination was with Pieter-Steph du Toit. And I said to him, watch South Africa, watch whoever scores the try. Who's the first player that gives the guy a hug? It's Pieter-Steph du Toit, because he's there. Yeah. He's always up. You see him getting off the ground once he's had a tackle. We cannot lose him. The guy averages 17 to 20 tackles a game. Dominant tackles, not airy fairy stuff.
Yeah, and he's a big unit, and he's just I don't know. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected. He just gets in and he gets it done. So like a player like that, he's what I would class like a nucleus player. So Klein Vermeulen is another. They're just these guys that everybody operates around. And they're there and they do these things. So if you can maintain that in any side, the nucleus of the player, the nucleus of the team, then I believe that any team can get through. It's when you lose those key players, like with England with Owen Farrell. If he gets injured and has to leave, I don't know if they're going to get that backline moving.
The same. I know they've got Ford he's good. He can play world class rugby, but he's not a world class X factor number 10 like Owen.
He's like a Foley from Australia, So
that's a big insult. So
so maybe I won't be back.
No, it's just but Joe, looking at that game, I think it's going to be my problem with that game is probably it's going to be so physical, so it's going to be one of the hardest games out there. Whoever comes through that game, then they've got to go face either Wales, South Africa in the final. It's tough. It's going to be tough.
So then, I'm glad that that's going to be a tough game, because we're going to face whoever it is in the final.
Yeah.
So I hope they have a hell of a game.
I'm going to have to go with my brothers from another mother and say New Zealand New Zealand are going to get through that game. But I think it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
So are you in agreement there?
I am.
Okay. So we're looking at an all Southern Hemisphere final. We can stop the show now.
We've won. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we see the final. I'd be happy.
Yeah. And I'll put you on the spot, Don. But who do you think would come through there? I know who I think will come through.
Sherbet. I don't swear on this channel, so Sherbet. You can imagine what I wanted to say. You know what? I'm gonna say it. South Africa to win.
Yeah. And the reason, well, I think South Africa, because first of all they're playing. It's not a home game for any of them, for either of them, I should say. And there's always a special energy between New Zealand and South Africa when we play. And was it Ireland that beat New Zealand a couple of years back?
2018.
Yeah. In the US, they played overseas. Didn't they play in the States?
They played in Chicago, but they also played one game in Ireland, and Ireland won.
Yeah, so I don't know why that just came to my mind, but I think that could be the scenario. Is that the team in green is going to put one over New Zealand, and to equalise world rugby, I think that would be a good result, because it would give us 3 trophies. It would, New Zealand would stay on 3 trophies. And then it's all to play going into the next World Cup. So, if New Zealand get 4 trophies, then it just, I don't know. It just puts them on a completely different level.
I agree with you there. Look, I think a South Africa win is. I'm absolutely correct. I think it would be wonderful for world rugby. Actually, any one of the sides to get to win another World Cup, even if because only four countries have ever won a World Cup, and even if it was a Wales or an Ireland, that'd also be really good for world rugby. So we're talking, we want to have open playing fields. I think New Zealand have been world number 1 for the last 10 years. So like literally 10 years. The country has a 80 to 90% win record every year. They are sublime. They are. You cannot deny it. They are the best rugby players in the world. It's just what it is.
They set the standard.
Yeah, it's what we all try achieve. So no disrespect to them at all. It's just it would just be nice to have just a another South Africa engraved on the trophy. It just would be nice.
Yeah. So I'll go with my heart there. SA all the way. And that's pretty much how I think it's going to play out. I agree.
Yeah, well, that's our prediction for the show. I think I'm so looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to this for months now. Now it's just getting closer and closer and closer. Trying to think how I can actually work and watch rugby at the same time. I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah. Because it's not. I can watch it. I've still got to make money for the end of the month, though.
Yeah. No, I feel your pain, Doug. I feel your pain. But I'm sure we'll struggle through it, and we'll be all right. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's our predictions. Maybe we'll just do 10 minutes on the squad, and then we can call it a night. How does that sound?
Okay, cool. No problem.
Okay, so I'm going to change the slide here. So obviously this is the Springbok squad. I just think, just things that stand out for you as like glaring issues, maybe, and things that you're looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I mean it's such a strong squad, Don. They really are, and Russie's done an amazing job. I really think he's done an incredible job.
Yeah.
The mix that he has, it's like where did you ever think that Schalk Brits would come back to South African rugby? Let alone playing for the Springboks.
Yeah.
But it just.
And if you watch Premiership rugby, the guy when he played for Saracens is absolutely sublime. He was voted, I think, the best import ever for Premiership rugby. Like literally, the guy is an absolute, and he's actually got a great personality.
Yeah, and I think that's the key.
Yeah.
So if you want to build a team, it takes all parts. I mean, he's a phenomenal rugby player. And he just, you can just imagine the yes, with a guy like that around. With his experience and sort of looks like he's got a bit of vuma, he's got something going on. It's good to see. Create some form of leadership within the team in sort of the tight five. As far as Lut de Jager, a great player. I think he's like when I see him on the field, if I didn't know that he played rugby, Don, I wouldn't think he was a rugby player. Not that he's a stereotypical rugby player, or maybe he is, but he's solid. I mean, he plays hard rugby, and he's as tall as anything, and he puts in the tackles. I've tried to make a conscious decision to sort of watch his work rate on the field, because I've always thought that he's a little bit, he's not putting in the work, but he does. I don't know how you feel about Lut.
I think his injury came at the wrong time, because he used to be obviously our starting pair used to be Etzebeth and Lut, so they were incumbents. I think he's been replaced now by Franco Mostert completely. The one thing I can say, quite a few sides have those work engine kind of players. Like the huge big engines. I'm trying to think who the guys from Ireland, James Ryan. Like really got high work ethic, big motors. We're fairly fortunate that we have two. We got Mostert and Pieter-Steph. And the guys are always in the double figure tackles. They very, very seldom miss tackles. So we're very, very fortunate in that respect.
Mostert, I think he's an amazing player. And I don't know, he just always looks like he's enjoying himself.
Yes.
As hard as the game is, you always see him smiling at one of the other players, or he's just enjoying it, and he's a top class player. He really is. He's really come through. I remember when he had long hair, and I never really thought much of anything. But I think he's got a haircut and got on with it.
What do you think of the props and the hookers?
So hookers, Mbonambi for me is my pick. I think again, he's just like one of those guys with all that energy. He's just got to go forward the whole time. Malcolm Marx was a solid player, but he's not the player he was 2 years ago.
I agree with you there. Look, I agree with you 100% there. I think Mbonambi's, if he hasn't, I'm sure he'll be a starting hooker. it's a tough call, you know. I think he plays. Rassie tries to play two different front three. So you'll have Beast, Ubunambi, and Trevor as a pairing, and then he has Frans Malherbe. Oh, actually, wrong side. So you'll have Stephen Kitsoff, Malcolm Marx, and Frans Malherbe. I haven't been impressed with Frans Malherbe. I think Vincent Koch is a better prop than Frans Malherbe. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and I don't think he's far off there. I mean, Stephen Kitsoff, incredible. I think he's yet to get stride. I think he's just going to develop into one of those names in world rugby eventually. So, you know, he's just solid, and he puts in the tackles. You know, as a prop, if you can tackle as a prop, then you're ahead of the game. You know, Vincent Koch, I do rate him, as you say, a bit higher than Frans Malherbe. Malherbe, I don't know, and I could be completely wrong here, but I don't know how fit he is. You know,
I've always thought he's about 5-10 kilograms overweight. You know, you don't need to carry that much weight as a tight head prop. I wouldn't want to tell him that to his face, but you know, but I honestly do think that because if you look at what New Zealand are doing now, you know, they're taking very, very mobile props, especially their tight head props. You know, dropping Owen Franks, that's a huge big call. So they're going for real mobility, and I think Vincent Koch is a lot more mobile than Frans Malherbe. And I think as a scrummager, I think he scrums a little bit higher. He's got a bit of a different kind of technique, which I think might suit the games playing against the Northern Hemisphere sides.
Yeah. So and I mean the props. So I mean I'm not unhappy with the selection of the tight.
No, I think that's great.
Obviously,
but if you've got Trevor Nyakani.
That guy's just incredible. Trevor is just amazing. And I just hope he stays fit enough through the tournament. He's, again, one of those players that you need there. Also to inject that sort of that energy into the side. Because I can imagine being around a guy like that. He looks like he's always, you know, full of...
Exactly. He's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah, which is good for any side. And he's a hard worker, and he's not scared. I mean, not that any of them are scared, but he'll run into anything carrying the ball.
Yeah.
So again, he's one of those guys that you want to stay there.
What are your thoughts on the loose trio?
Peter Steff, obviously. We've spoken about him. But Dwayne Vermeulen at the back, and then our captains here, Polisi. Solid. I think they play very well together, those three. I think they've got a very good understanding of each other's game plan, of how they play on the field with the team. You know, let's see how Sia does. And again, I hope that he stays fit and strong. Obviously you've got your impact players. I think you mentioned it, like Francois Lowe. Come on, you know, he comes on towards the end of the game. He does make an impact. You know, so let's hope that the main sort of nucleus players stay on the field long enough for the coach to make a tactical substitution with a guy like Francois Lowe. Not have to one because he has no other choice.
I just look at it like Francois Lowe, Achia Snyman. You know, these are players that you bring in the end. You know, 20-30 minutes. The game's opened up completely. Defenses are a little bit more looser. The game's very open. You know, Achia Snyman with his height, with his offloading ability, getting through the gain line and offloading. I think these are the kind of players you bring at that time. You know, I think their skills are pretty much negated before that.
Yeah. No, I think to agree. I mean, Achia Snyman. I mean, he's I don't know. I wouldn't like to have to try and tackle that guy.
Yeah, no, same here.
He's quite menacing. So you can imagine, playing against South Africa, and then, they take off. Let's say Eben Etzebeth, who's a giant in his own right, and you're thinking, oh, thank goodness he's off the field, and then the next giant walks on the field. I think there's a lot of psychological impact of having a guy like this Neyman coming on towards the end of the game. So but yeah, strictly speaking, that group of forwards are great, and I think Russie's made his choices, and he's made good choices in my opinion.
I agree.
These guys are going to be consistently good. Yeah.
Now we go through. Probably we're quite a lot thin with caps and experience. Is our backs. There's a few issues there, but I still think there's some sublime players there that are in absolutely sublime form. World X Factor players in a lot of those positions.
Yeah, obviously, I think I mentioned to you the other day. I'm not a fan of backs in rugby, but we've got to have them, obviously. It's standout players in that group would be Mapimpi. I mean, he is just he's something else.
I agree.
And I hope that he stays fit and uninjured. Because he's got wheels for days. I mean, once he gets going, gets through that gap, and he's got that white line fever. He's a special player. I believe he's got a huge future.
I'd say he has to be an informed finisher. He really has to be an informed finisher. And a lot of people, talk. They talk about George Bridge and they talk about Mapimpi and they Stockdale and all of those. They say, they were just there. They caught the ball and they went over. But you're going, it takes skill to be at the right place at the right time. And people don't realize that the finishers, that's their job. Their job is to finish the move. And even if it's the last 5 meters, that's their job.
Yeah, and that's the money end. That's where it counts.
Exactly.
If he drops the ball over the line, it was all for naught. So he's got to get it down. So if you're a finisher, you're a finisher, and if you're a worker, then you're a worker. You have to get the ball to the finisher. Then that's your role.
The one other wing that I like is Sbu Nkosi. The reason why I like Sbu Nkosi is that he makes tries. So he'll go through 3-4 defenders. He'll do the spin, and he's got the physicality to get over the line, even if he's got players in front of him. Very much like a Siva Reese. Those kind of wingers. That can make magic out of nothing. Yes, they're also finishers, but they can make. Colby for me if you've watched him play at top 14, the guy's a special player.
Yeah. He's one of those also creates something out of nothing. I just like I mentioned earlier about the whole intercept story. I hope that there's someone just chatting to him and saying it's not every interaction with the opposite team is a opportunity to intercept the ball. Because then like I was saying, like a team like New Zealand and even England, but not that I don't think we're playing them unless we play them in the final. They would also exploit someone like that. But he is a special player. He's great. You got guys like Faf de Klerk, a scrummy. He's also fearless and solid. I mean, in the past he's won games for us, whether it's scoring a try or making a tackle. Either way.
I think our 9-10 pivot with Faf and Pollard that's our first choice. It has to be.
Yeah. Faf is in form. Pollard's in form.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would naturally have to be the first selection. Then obviously followed with the Yankees guys, Herschel and Elton,
Yeah.
as sort of call them second string. Although Herschel Yankees, I mean, I honestly had never really watched him play rugby until he played for the Springboks.
Yeah. He just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but what I've seen is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just hope that there's the right mentoring going on behind the scenes.
I hope so. I'm sure there is. I'm sure Russie's there's a method to his madness. I was watching the breakdown the other day, and they were talking to, I can't remember the selector's name for New Zealand, and he was saying it's in the back of their mind that they're preparing for 2023 as well. So some of the players that they take along that only have 1 or 2 tests or something like that, they're preparing them for the next World Cup. Yes, it's in the back of their mind because they've got it, but that's how long they prepare for a World Cup.
Yeah. So and then you've obviously got the centre pairings. You got Damon Dialende there.
Thanks, Lonely Boy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, Don. I was saying Damien Dialende also has never been my favourite rugby player. I think that he takes the ball into contact far too often.
Yeah.
As opposed to feeding it out or feeding it in. But that's, if they've created the team around pairing like Damien and Lukanya Om. Lukanya Om, fantastic rugby player. Got to support a Sharks player, obviously. So, yeah, I think, again, Lukanya Om also relatively new, like you're talking about caps, the number of caps and that.
Yeah.
And you've got to just sort of keep them close and as far as the more experienced players in the team. But that pairing seems to be working quite well. And then you've got obviously like Jesse Creel coming off the bench. Again, Jesse Creel's never been my favourite either. I don't know. Honestly, it's and maybe I should just say that it's fine. They're fine because I really don't have alternatives to offer you.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I think if there's any sort of gap in our rugby at the moment, it's our centres. That maybe needs to be looked at from a broader view. But as long as they tackle the hell out of the opposition, I'm happy. They've just got to make their tackles. And the only thing like with Jesse Creel, I think he overworks the rush defence. So because he is so fast. And fit. So for me that's his only sort of chink. So he could be drawn in quickly, and then made to look like he's standing still.
Sorry, a lot of people give Lukanya Om a lot of stick because they say, oh, he's missing tackles and things like that. But look at the tackles that he's missing, and they're tackles that are out of his channel. So somebody else has made a mistake, and he's trying to rectify it. Like literally, look at it. And I honestly feel that our outside backs are better when he's on the field than when he's not on the field. And he may not be world class just yet, because I don't think he is there yet, but I say give him another 10 tests and you will be the best 13 in the world. I just think he understands space better than anybody else on that field.
Yeah. I mean, I can be wrong, and that's obviously So let's hope that it all slots in nicely for the World Cup and everybody gels and does what they need to do. Makes the tackles, and we come through with not a lot of injuries, so that we don't have to start scratching elsewhere for players. Because I think that might be, it's like with the centres. I think if we have to start scratching for centres.
Andre Esterhuizen, who takes ball into contact more than Damon Dialende. So
So So anyway, I mean, I'm happy with the team. They must just perform. That's why they're there.
Okay. Well, Brannin, I seriously appreciate you coming on. I'm glad I went against my better judgment and got you on. And
thank
so
you, Don.
that's it's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
But so I really look forward. But I'd really like to have you back on again, closer to when things are happening at.
Sorry, Don. There's a bit of a delay going on at the moment.
Looks.
Technology.
Brannin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Don.
Okay. Yeah, just I need to show there. I was just everyone. My machine is starting to give a few issues. But thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, Don.